slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate.
Today is the review of the FIFINE Tank 3 versus my FIFINE Tank 2. So let's get started. When I first picked this microphone up, I didn't expect much beyond the decent price, but after actually using it for a while, I realized that the mic is just one of the best FIFINE has made thus far. Right away, the following things I noticed was how solid it feels, and this is a pretty solid mic. And the reason why I'm holding it in my hand is because I just figured it would be better with me reviewing it. So hopefully you don't hear no handling noise. But when I first picked up the mic, it was hefty right off the bat. That it felt like the quality mic that you would expect. The microphone doesn't feel cheap, and it doesn't feel like plasticky. The buttons don't even feel plasticky, even though they are. And it doesn't feel like something that's going to fall apart after a few months of use. This thing is heavy. It's because it got a heavy metal, and it feels like it was built to be used daily and not just babying it to make sure you're afraid it's going to break. The Tank 3 is also, like my other ones, a dynamic microphone, and that alone already puts it in a different category than most budget microphones. The dynamic mics are designed to focus on the voice and reject background noise, and this mic does exactly that. When I speak into it, my voice sounds warm, controlled, and centered. It doesn't sound thin, and it doesn't sound brittle, and it doesn't exaggerate harsh, the highs. My voice comes through with full confidence, especially when I stay about 4 to 6 inches away from the mic, and it's where the thing really shines. What impressed me the most is how well it handles untreated rooms. I'm not recording in a perfect studio. And yet this mic keeps the room noise, with me not working in a perfect studio, it keeps the room noise, keyboard sounds, and the background distinction at a minimum. That alone makes it incredibly useful for podcasters and streamers, for YouTubers like me, and anyone recording a voice at home. Now, one of the biggest selling points, I would have to say, of the Tank 3 is that it offers both the USB and the XLR ports for connections, and that just isn't a gimmick. It generally adds value. When I use it in USB mode, it's completely plug and play. I plug it into my computer, select it as an input, and already am able to record within seconds, which is what I'm doing now. There's no drivers and no complicated setup and no audio interfaces that are required in the USB mode. The sound is clean, warm, and very usable, as you can hear and see. Right on the box, there is a slight noise, right out of the box it can be used. There is a slight noise floor if you really crank the gain up or record in a dead silent room, but for normal content creation, it's not a deal breaker. And honestly, with a little bit of noise reduction and compression, it cleans everything up easily. Where this mic really steps up through, though, is when you use it in XLR. I don't really use it in XLR much, but when I do, it's just on a whole nother level, I believe. Once I plugged this into the audio interface, what the difference was immediately noticeable. The signal became cleaner and more dynamic and more professional. My voice sounded richer and more controlled and more broadcast ready. This is where the Tank 3 stops feeling like a budget mic and it starts feeling like a serious, a piece of gear. The dual connection setup is huge because it means you can start simple with USB and grow into XLR later without replacing the microphone. That alone makes this mic a long-term investment. Like, I will never get rid of these mics that I have. On the mic itself, you've got the gain knob and the headphone volume knob. It also has a tap-to-touch mute button, which is also very convenient. And the headphone jack is used for real-time monitoring so you can hear yourself while you're speaking to make sure your audio is clear, which is extremely convenient when you're recording live or streaming. You don't want to dig through software and menus and all that. I can mute myself instantly and adjust my levels on the fly and monitor my voice with latency. Just keep in mind these controls only function in the USB mode. When you switch to XLR, those modes onboard features are passed and you rely on your interface and mixer instead. That's not really a flaw, it's just something to be aware of. And then in terms of the word use, this mic fits perfectly into the content creation workflows. For podcasting, it's absolutely solid. I would have no hesitation publishing audio recorded on this microphone. For YouTubers like myself, voiceover commentary and political analysis, it delivers clear, authoritative sound that makes your voice feel grounded and professional. And for streaming and gaming, it blows headset mics completely out of the water. People notice the difference immediately when I switch to this microphone, and that says a lot. Now, where I want to be very specific is what this mic is not meant for. If you're looking to record high-end music vocals, delicate acoustic instruments, or studio-grade singing, this probably isn't the microphone. That doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's designed primarily for spoken word. Dynamic mics like the XL at voice clarity and rejection, not ultra detailed musical nuance. Another thing you can become aware of is the desk noise. Because the mic is solid and sensitive to vibration, it can pick up bumps and keyboard movements if it's mounted directly to the desk stand itself. Using a boom armor shock mount completely fixes that, but it's worthy mentioning. Okay. Now let's talk about the value, because this is where the Tank 3 really stands out. For the price, you're getting a mic that works for beginners, immediate creators, and even more advanced setups. You're getting USB convenience, the XLR flexibility, with the solid build quality and the good onboard controls and sound that completes your expensive with most. I'm sorry, I lost my words. That competes with most expensive microphones. That's not common on this price range. So who should buy this mic? Well, if you're a podcaster, streamer, or YouTuber, or content creator who wants a better audio without breaking the bank, this mic makes sense for you. If you're someone who wants to start simple but eventually move into the interface-based setup, this mic grows with you. If you care about your voice sounding clear, confident, and professional, this mic delivers. If you're a music producer or vocalist looking for pristine studio vocals, you probably want to invest in something more specialized. If you already own high-end broadcast mics like the SM7B or similar, this won't replace them, but it also costs a fraction of the price. At the end of the day, the FIFINE Tank 3 is one of those rare microphones that actually lives up to the hype in its category. It doesn't try to be everything, but what it does is it does it well. For spoken word content, it's reliable, flexible, and sounds far better than most people expect when they hear the price of it. And honestly, that's actually what matters most. But thank you for listening, and the next microphone you hear will be the FIFINE Tank 2. Thank
Today
you.
I'm breaking down the FIFINE Tank 2, and I'm doing it from both sides of the equation. The technical audio engineering side and the real world creator side, because if gear doesn't perform under pressure, specs don't matter. Right out of the box, the Tank 2 immediately signals that FIFINE understood the assignment. This is not consumer plastic gear pretending to be pro. This is a metal-bodied, purpose-built audio interface designed for creators who care about sound but don't want to fight their equipment. The chassis is all metal, and what matters more than people think is the metal housing, which reduces the vibrations. Which reduces vibrations and adds durability and helps with electromagnetic shielding, which directly impacts the noise. Performance, this thing feels dense, solid, and confident, inspiring the second you pick it up. The control layout is clean and intentional, and the creator focused that every knob, button, and input is placed where your hand naturally wants it to go during a live recording or streaming. There's no hunting, no guessing, and no waste of space. The gain knob deserves real praise here. Technically speaking, it has a smooth tapper, meaning gain increases gradually rather than jumping in harsh steps. That translates to precise gain staging, which is one of the most important fundamentals in clean audio capture. Now let's talk about what actually matters, most of all, the sound. The Tank 2's mic preamps are shockingly clear for its class. Noise floor is low, distortion is controlled, and the signal stays stable even as you push your gain higher. That's not accidental, and that's competent. Circuit design, dynamic microphones, which typically demand higher gain performance. Well, here, mics like the SM58 and the SM57 and even gain-hungry broadcast-style microphones come through strong without immediately needing a cloud filter, which an online booster can still help in extreme cases. The Tank 2 holds it down. Vocals come through warm, centered, and present without artificial hype or hollow coloration. This is what engineers call a neutral but flattering preamp, which is exactly what you want for spoken word content. Mid-range clarity is excellent, and that's huge. Human speech lives in the mid-range, and the Tank 2 keeps that range clean, intelligible, and forward. Words cut through without sounding nasal, harsh, or compressed. High frequencies are crisp but controlled. You get clarity and articulation without sibilance ripping your ears off. The low frequencies stay tight and defined instead of bloated, which helps voice the sound authoritative rather than muddy. From a technical standpoint, this makes the Tank 2 extremely forgiving in untreated rooms. If your space isn't perfectly acoustically treated, and most people's aren't, this interface helps keep you sound, which my room's not at all purposed, and it still sounds clean anyway. Now let's hit monitoring, because latency can destroy a recording session fast. The Tank 2 delivers near zero latency monitoring, which means when you say it, what you hear is real time. There's no echo, no delay, and no mental disconnect while speaking. This matters for delivery, pacing, and vocal confidence. The headphone amplifier is powerful and clean. It can drive higher impedance headphones with distortion or volume drop. This isn't a weak afterthought, it's properly implemented headphone output. The independent headphone volume control allows precise monitoring without affecting your main output signal. That's a pro feature hiding in plain sight. Connectivity is another strong point. You get XLR mics, input USB digital output, and flexible routing options that work seamlessly with modern recording setups. Plug it into your PC or laptop and select it as your input device, and you're live. No drivers, no nonsense, and no compatibility or drama. From a workflow perspective, that's exactly what creators need. The onboard effect and sound controls add another layer of utility. Technically, these effects are basic, but strategically they're smart. They allow quick enhancements and sound cues without opening software midstream. For streamers and live commentators, this is huge. You can add personality and production value instantly without risking crashes or the CPU overload. The mute button is fast, responsive, and clear indicated. And live production, that's not optional, that's essential. There's no lag and no guessing and no accidental hot mics. Thermal performance is solid as well. Even during extended sessions, the Tank 2 remains stable and cool. No signal drift, no pops, no strange behavior over time. Now let's be real, nothing is perfect, and this unit has limitations from a technical perspective. The preamps, while clean, don't compete with high-end studio interfaces costing 3 to 5 times more. If you're tracking instruments or producing commercial music at professional level, you'll hear the difference. The onboard effects, while convenient, lack deep customization. You're not dialing in precise compression ratios or surgical EQ curves here. These are quick tools, not studio replacements. Routing options are simpler than a full mixer if you're running multiple microphones, instruments, and complex signal chains. You may eventually want more flexibility. And while gain performance is strong, extremely quiet dynamic mics may still benefit from an inline preamp. That's not a flaw, it's a physics. That said, none of these limitations undermine what the Tank 2 is designed to do. Because here's the bottom line. The FIFINE Tank 2 absolutely delivers where it counts. It provides clean audio, solid build quality, and low noise performance, which is excellent. The monitoring and creator-friendly controls at a price point that makes sense for podcasters, YouTubers, political commentators and streamers, interviewers, and voiceover creators. This is a serious upgrade tool. It elevates your sound immediately without turning your setup into a technical nightmare. This is gear that works with you, not against you. It lets you focus on your message, your delivery, and your content, not troubleshooting. In short, the Tank 2 is not hype without substance. It's substance with hype. And that's exactly what I think it should be. This has been the Amplitank Tank 2 compared to my FIFINE Amplitank Tank 3. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe the video. Thanks for watching.